Saddlebrook has a very, very beautiful new house factory.
Me and Kyler, every Saturday, we worked 6 days a week. We took Sunday off for rest.
Yeah.
And so now there's 11 million households that extremely need housing. Mm-hmm. So who do you say that would need our housing the most?
If you're not living under a bridge or a cardboard box, you're going to be looking for a place to live.
The new middle class is $1 million homes.
What's the biggest one you've got?
It's not a company, it is people.
These homes are insane. Mm-hmm. Insane.
You've got to work for things, and you're going to be a lot more happier if you work for these things. The work ethic.
That's why this podcast is so important. To the Tiny Home Podcast powered by Saddlebrook. Guys, you know it, the #1 tiny home podcast in the world. Guys, we have such a banger episode today. We got Dustin Morgan, the #1 modular home builder in Oklahoma. He's a devoted father, a devoted husband, a devoted Christian. Man, give it up for Dustin.
Glad to have you on here, Dustin.
Very, very kind of y'all. Thank you.
Good episode.
And Dustin, I want to start off with this, man. Going to the gym with you in the morning, seeing your drive. I asked Dustin, we were on the bench press, what's your target number? He's like, when I'm done. I mean, Dustin, that fire in you, man.
That's good.
Like, you got to give us what's driving that.
Oh, when it starts to hurt, that's when you start counting. That's what a guy told me one time.
Wow.
But what that fire is the current state of the housing market and where people are. It is requiring people to step up in uncommon ways. And I'll just back up just a little bit. I've been in construction since I was 17 years old. I worked on farms and stuff before that, but my first job I landed in a cabinet shop. It was in high school. Graduated high school in doors, windows, garage doors for 2 years, and then right into new homes, modular homes, and on-site construction. And I'm 42 now, and so you might say I've been in it for a little while. Done a lot of traveling around the country and stuff like that. But the fire inside of me to come and be a part of this movement with Saddlebrook, it's more of a mission. It's more of a movement than it is a job or a service. Is folks are struggling and they're hurting. Like rent just keeps going up. We're in this new world where Charles Schwab says, you will own nothing and love it.
Wow.
And that is the world leaders talking. This is what they're...
Is that BlackRock or who was that?
When they do that economic forum deal over there overseas, all the top leaders in the world.
And it's scary you say that because it shows how blind we are as people. And that's why this podcast is so important. Yeah. Imagine a world leader telling you to your face, you're going to own nothing and you're going to love it. And we don't change anything in our lives.
That's powerful.
Yeah. So I refuse that. I refuse the lie that a house is not an investment. I refuse the lie that don't build a family, don't raise your kids, don't build your home. Don't build something on the rock for money. A lot of influencers in the world are speaking this today. I hear this a lot. Your home's not an investment. Don't buy a home. Don't get married. Don't have kids. Don't follow God. Make money. Be successful. And I refuse that. And when I say behind the mission of Saddlebrook, my personal mission throughout my whole life is to provide housing for people. And sorry about that.
No, you're fine. So I have a question. Who do you think needs our housing the most? Because I have a statistics in front of me here, and this goes back to say who are the most affected by the affordable housing, and it says renters with extremely low incomes face the biggest challenges to find affordable housing. There are only 7 million affordable units for 11 million households with extremely low incomes. But of the 7 million people, 3.3 million are occupied by households with higher incomes.
Yeah.
So we have 7 million lower income housing, but the higher income people
Are living in those homes.
Are locking in
Yes.
those homes before the lower income people can, because they have a lot, you can get to it a lot faster if you have cash, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now there's 11 million households that extremely need housing.
Mm-hmm.
So who do you say that would need our housing the most in this economy, in this day and age?
Well, I would say first the young people that are coming out of
First-time home buyers.
First-time home buyers. If first-time home buyers, if you're not living under a bridge or a cardboard box, you're going to be looking for a place to live. You're always looking for a place to live, and there has to be an option for you. So first-time home buyers, the middle class who are a little older, who have credit built, already have established jobs. There's the folks that you're probably talking about who own the majority of the houses. And then we're getting a lot of older people who are looking to downsize. They're selling those houses, the big houses and stuff, and looking at us in a different way, something that they can actually sell their house, get into one of our new homes, still have a new home, everything they need, and still have money to live on.
Right.
Yeah.
Not even we even do a lot of employee housing too. But like
do.
people that have
Yeah.
businesses and farms, ranches that want to put housing for their employees, duplexes. You can do a two bath duplex.
And I wanted to touch on this. It says Harvard had just the state of Texas came out with a report of June 24th of 2024, and they said and this is only in the state of Texas, 6.9 million homeowners households spend too much on housing. According to Harvard's analysis, the state's high housing costs and a shortage of housing affordable to the poorest Texans fueled a 12% increase in homelessness only in the last year, according to federal estimates.
Wow.
And so we're seeing a lot of people, and I was talking to our employees in the back, and there's a lot of people that if we wouldn't deliver the fast units that we deliver, they would be homeless in 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're losing their rent or they're investing everything they have in one of our homes, and if it would take a year, they couldn't even afford the rent anymore because they're fixed on this one asset. And the average income nowadays, I believe I saw a study last week or this week that says even to buy a median home price in the United States is close to $409,000. You have to earn above $77,000 a year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To
At
even
least.
just to even qualify for that.
Just to get qualified.
Right.
Yeah, you hear these numbers all around the country. We're blessed as we live in Texas and Oklahoma, and it's been notoriously known for one of the most affordable places to live. But even after COVID, we've had such a influx of new people from around the country that even that is starting to slowly deteriorate on the affordability. And when I talk about affordability, I mean, we have a countrywide average of what people make a year. And
Forbes came out with average annual salary nationwide $59,428. Of course, that's a little different every state.
it's a little different every state, but that's our country average. He just said you had to make
Over 77,000
to get an average
to
cost,
qualify for the average home
cost,
median price.
Median price. So, tell me how that works out. That's not real.
There's no solution unless they go out 40, 50 years on a mortgage. If you want to build, if you
Well,
want to
you
buy,
can't have a
but you can't
50-year
even pay
mortgage.
the down payment though. Because if
Yeah.
your groceries are high, you're spending $300 on groceries. By the time
A
you
week.
get back home, you have nothing left in the paycheck to save for your down payment. So you can't even really get into a 400. Yeah.
And the look, I don't believe that employers and companies are out to hurt workers. But the fact of the matter is, inflation is outpacing increase in earnings. Wages are not keeping up with the speed of inflation. And so we talk about all these things, and a lot of people do, like, oh, we gotta do this, but There's only one real answer, and that's action. And that's people who are committed to the cause, biased to the cause, willing to give everything for it. I believe that we will turn this country around, but somebody has to take the lead. Somebody has to lead the charge so others will follow. And I truly believe that's what Saddlebrook is here doing. When you look us up, you'll start to see that. Better yet, you be better off to come see us. And you will find a group of people who are God-fearing, Jesus Christ following, committed families that are committed to more than the bottom line. We are committed to helping families, creating families in this country. And we all know what the politics have tried to do to this country and our families. They've tried to tear us apart. They've tried to tell you that women, you shouldn't get married. You get pregnant, you should have an abortion. Where do you think that leads people? I can tell you, it leads them right to the wasteland. It leads them right to the desert. And that's not how I grew up. I grew up I'm an 82 model, and I grew up in the 90s and early 2000s. And I'm not super old, but I can still remember when my parents would take me to my local rodeos or the ball games or something, and everybody stood up for the pledge, to Pledge of Allegiance. They take their hat off, put their hand over their heart, and stand up when the American flag passed by them. And families were built, and everybody had housing. And it's funny to me that as things progress, as our technology progress, and all of our worldly things, that the family is deteriorating, and the housing is going away.
Yep. And I think what you're saying is super true, right? And not only what the government is pushing and what social media is pushing, but I think we've lost pride and honor. And I believe it's because the stress that regular Americans are going through today. We all remember a time when middle class was $100,000 to $250,000. I mean, I'm personally from New York. If you earn $100,000 in New York, you're living in a lower class neighborhood. Why? Because the American dream is slowly dying. It really is. The new middle class is $1 million homes in New York, personally. And if they're in New York, I mean, it's the same in Massachusetts. It's the same in California, Oregon, Washington, and all these states. And that stress that it's causing, it's a trickle down effect. You're stressed so you don't have kids. You can't afford diapers or Pampers or the milk for the kids. You can't afford a home, so you don't want to have 2-3 kids living in a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment. I've seen this so many times. People get a 1-bedroom apartment, and then by the time they leave, it's a 3-bedroom apartment. They're just putting up a bunch of walls, sleeping in closet-like bedrooms, because that's how dire the situation is. So, Dustin, we really appreciate you coming on. I mean, let's talk a little bit about Evolution Modular, your company.
Okay.
What does it stand for? Why did you even start it? And what's next for it? What are we doing?
Well, like I said, I've always was in construction my whole life, my whole career. I was in transportation, just you name it. If there's a way to build houses or get them transported or however it may be to get mostly middle class, lower class people homes, that's what I was all about. And then, COVID happened, and we all know what happened through all that time. And a lot of people did very well, and a lot of people didn't. And we come out of that. And I started looking at how can I expand my reach? How can I help more people? Because 40 families a year just it didn't satisfy me. And so I started looking at changing up the structures of the houses so that we could get them further, easier, and more affordable. And so that's when my wife and I started Evolution Modular Homes. And, we were just basically building custom stick frame homes in double sections, similar to manufactured homes. And what we quickly realized is to help thousands of people, thousands of families, we needed a team. And we needed way more resources than her and I currently had. And so we just started going out and making relationships and getting close to the people. And then I was able to find this great company that is really leading the charge and on the forefront of quality affordable housings for Americans. And our vision aligns, our goals are the same, and we serve the one true living God. And so when I saw that, and which, by the way, Saddlebrook has a very, very beautiful new house factory, and great sales and service. And what's not to love about that? So Evolution Modular was started with the intentions of helping thousands of people. It quickly morphed into, within a matter of a year, in order to help those thousands of people, part of me must die. And what I mean by that is the old ways would have you say and think that I have to have it all. I have to control it all. And there's nothing's going to happen unless I do it all. And the fact of the matter is this mission and these goals that we have are so large, not one man can handle, even me. And so I looked to team. I looked to partner with the right people, and the Saddlebrook company is definitely that person. So that's what we're on a mission. Evolution Modular Home is not a company; it is people. It is myself, my wife, my family. It is very, very sacred to us, and it's just like Saddlebrook is when you step into this ecosystem, this family, the Croft brothers and the whole family and the mom and dad and everybody here that works. When you step into this ecosystem, you will feel the love. You will feel it. You will see it. You won't have to take my word for it anymore. And that is their mission. That is their mission sent to them from God and from that higher power, and they know that. And so evolution still lives on. It lives on in my wife and I, and we are partnered with Saddlebrook, but it's the people. Who do you buy from? You buy from people you like. And is it the house? Yes, it's the house and what it does for you. But more than that, it's what it does for your family. It's what it does for you. And that's what we are here to do. That's what we're here mission focused to do, is to take on the challenges of being to offsite build your custom home, get it transported to your location, and the goal is to do it more affordable and quicker than anyone else.
You know what's so crazy? I think we should put one of your modular homes, like a link in the description. These homes are insane. Mm-hmm. Insane. What we're talking about,
like huge. Yeah, like what's the biggest one that you built?
Biggest one I built is 2,400 square feet.
Yeah.
Freaking massive.
I want to, to our listeners and our future customers, can you explain like the difference between a modular, a tiny home, and like a manufactured home versus there's a lot of questions it's a lot of questions between. Well, I don't want a mobile home. I don't want a manufactured home. Can you tell them the difference between what we're building versus, and even what you've built versus a manufactured home?
And then also how the actual value of how a bank appraises. We had an appraisal come back yesterday on one of our units, and they gained 40,000 in equity.
You've heard it, 40,000 in equity.
Even before it was.
It's not even built yet. It's not even built yet, and it already gained 40,000 in equity. So they're 40,000. You could look at it as they're $40,000 richer than they were, but they were still having affordable.
So they have the option to cash out some of that.
Yeah.
But so it's a little bit weird.
Yeah.
You can actually get paid to build a house. I've never heard of that.
Yeah. But talk about because a lot of our listeners, a lot of our future customers have the question is, Well, I don't want the mobile home look. I don't want the quality that the mobile home does. I mean, what do we do different, in the modular, like talk about the spray foam, the efficiencies, talk about on that.
Well, that's a great question, Kyler. And everybody wants to know. It's really simple. The trailer houses have been around since around 1970. And year after year after year, they are one of the largest home builders in the entire country. You can look that up. Some years, they are the largest home builder in the whole country. And so it's a great service for people. A lot of families have grown up in manufactured homes. Nothing against them, and we need more of them. Now, it's a great way because they're factory systemized built houses in a factory. A manufactured home is built in a factory, systemized, transported to dealerships, and you can go to the dealership and pick you one out. That all worked really, really well up till 2008, when housing really started to change. We had the housing crash, market crash and stuff. Prices started to increase. And even the systemized build manufactured homes were starting to cost more money. Okay. Well, that was part of the whole thing of buying a manufactured home is it was way cheaper.
The affordability.
Way cheaper. Now, what I've seen in the industry is they have improved a lot in their quality, but not to the level of a true off-frame modular home builder does. So you have manufactured homes, industrialized, systemized, factory-built homes with dealer networks. And then you have modular homes, modular home builders like ourselves that are true off-frame, stick-built houses on a permanent foundation.
Repeat that again. Stick-built.
Yeah, I'll repeat that again. That is a stick-built.
Off of a frame, not on a metal.
Off frame. No frame is ever connected to the bottom of it. The importance of that is your financing options change dramatically. You step into the conventional house financing options, the 30-year fixed mortgages. Also, the benefit of a frame not being tied to the underneath of it like a manufactured home is your appraisal. So when you go, you're a working person, you don't know a lot about finance. You didn't get a degree in finance and know all the details and everything. So you go to your local bank and they get you started on a construction loan and they find out that you're a true modular off-frame home on a permanent foundation. When they send their appraiser out to your land to do your pre-appraisal, you're going to get similar comps of that similar house that site-built homes in that area were built. You see what I'm saying? So your appraisal's better. Your lifetime investment is maintained. It should increase as things cost more, and your financing changes. Also, we do offer things like we're spray foaming all these houses here.
And the underneath.
And is the whole thing. Yeah.
Is any other modular company that you know of, are they using spray foam or are they still using?
I'm not aware of one right now. There may be some up in the very far northeast.
And maybe if you can, I'm sure that you can request if you want spray foam, they can.
Standard, would they come standard? Like,
no,
I know a manufactured home doesn't come with spray foam.
No, they're not spray foamed. And, the big drawbacks of manufactured homes is their cabinets and trim work and some of their finishes.
Just their build quality.
Their build quality is it's still way behind. And hey, I get it. Like, we're Americans, right? Like, things are costing more. Inflation's running out of control. We are not really in a position to pay $2,500 a month on a mortgage or rent. But we still want some quality, right? Like we
that's gonna last.
Look, it doesn't matter if you sign up for a 15-year mortgage or a 30-year mortgage. Okay.
You want to last 30 years.
Okay, not only that, maybe you want to sell it one day and upgrade. Well, you're going to have a difficult time with that in some of your housing options. You got to be careful about that on your manufactured side. And then what if you don't want to upgrade and you want to leave something for your children? So that's where the quality comes. Look, the quality, when we talk about quality, is not just to make ourselves sound better. It's not so we can sell more units. It's also so that you as a buyer have something of quality. I don't like cheap stuff. Yeah. I don't really know anybody who does prefer cheap stuff. And that's part of the war that we're in here. Is we're fighting all these things to provide these quality things to you as homeowners.
And the awesome part is you get to come sit down with one of our home experts and customize the home of your dreams. Like you get to choose where everything goes. So not only are you saving money, you're getting a stick-built home, and you're not having to put money into your home. How many people do we know are buying older homes because it's cheaper and then put 50, 60,000 out of pocket to repaint, re-sheetrock, redo their kitchen,
or have mold or anything in.
Exactly. When you buy, guys, it's simple. When you buy a 90-year-old home, something is always going to go wrong. Something will always go wrong. I mean, that's
the wiring is already like a flipped house. Then most of that is just makeup covering the the rough parts of the house.
And God forbid you have to work on a 80-year-old house. That plaster with the metal sheeting. Have you guys been exposed to that? It's like this hard plaster with metal sheeting.
I've never seen that.
You're smacking it with a hammer. It does not go down. I mean, guys, this is the solution for you. You're looking for something affordable. You're looking for something that's going to be your own. You get to choose your trim. You get to choose your colors. We have licensed plumbers, electricians. You won't have to deal with none of that. And the reason I talk with such passion, and I love Dustin for even getting emotional just talking about the vision, is because there are people suffering. And sometimes people suffer not because they want to, but because they just don't know. And that's why this podcast is so important. We need everyone in America and in the world to know. I mean, we just talk about inflation in America, but how about Argentina? How about Brazil?
Oh, yeah.
How about Canada?
I want to take 10 seconds for all of our listeners and all our new customers that are listening to this. If you have friends, family, or just loved ones or someone, share this on your Facebook, share this on YouTube. Like, give us a subscribe, comment. Like, we want to share this with the world. We're not only doing this for Texas, even though we're from Texas, we're doing this for the world. How can we be the solution? That's what we're doing. We're solving problems. So I just want to take 10 seconds to, hit like, share, comment, subscribe to our channel, because we're going to be coming out with a lot more like education on where and how to buy these homes. And so if that helps in any way, share this with someone, and then we can get back to it.
It's crazy how we talked about being Christ-centered, because sometimes God's plans are bigger than what we ever imagined. Could you agree?
Because 100% agree with
we
you
want, all right, our mission statement is, hey, we want to create affordable living so people can live with peace and profits. We're only talking about America, though. But God, I feel like God is telling us, hey, there's people all over the world. There's people in New Zealand, Australia. I mean, they're all over the world. The moment we start thinking bigger is the moment we get to impact more people.
Well, and you realize that it really hits you when you finish a new house out and you turn it over and you hand the keys over to a family. This happened to me last week. I closed out on a little house in Oklahoma, and she broke down crying. It makes me emotional because I was in that. These are the things I deal with. These are the moments that I know. It's so much more than a sell. The sell is only the beginning. You have this process, whether you're buying a house from a dealership or you're having one custom built at a factory or whatever it may be. Having one custom built on site, however it is you're getting a home. You have to make a sell. You have to decide on what you want. You have to make the sell, and then you're hoping everything works out. And there's a waiting period. And after COVID, there's a way longer waiting period. We all know that. And it finally gets turned over to you. and you get to move in. Everything's brand new. Everything smells good. It's how you designed it, the colors you wanted. You get to decorate it. You get to put all of your family heirlooms in there, all the pictures of your kids. Those are when those emotions hit hard. And you never know what someone else has been through. You know, this lady and her husband that I finished the house out for, they had a house fire 6 months prior. And so they lost everything. And, you know, actually a few days had went by, and before I'd actually turned the keys over to them, and I actually thought some of their stuff would already been moved in. Mm-hmm. And I get there and there's nothing there. And I thought, oh, foolish of me. They have nothing to move in. They had nothing to put in. And so all of their furniture and everything was coming brand new from a furniture store, just hadn't got there yet. And she hugged my neck and she's crying. And I was telling her I loved her and how thankful I was for the job and everything. And this happens over and over and over. We're actually selfish, and we're very, very overly blessed that we get to do this hundreds and hundreds of times. You know, we sell hundreds of finished out cabins out of this factory right now. And that is the goal. That is the mission. It's helping people is what it is. I'm tired of the greed. I'm tired of the greed. There's people in this country who can solve these problems. They're not doing it.
Talk about the greed more. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean by that? Is it other companies?
Well, what I mean by that is, what was it like starting Saddlebrook for you? You know, was it easy? Did you have everybody telling you to do it, or you probably had everybody saying it's not going to work?
Everybody said you're it's not going to work, and there's not a need for that, and you know you're not smart enough. You know, me and Kyler, I don't know if any of our listeners knew this or know this, but you know, I dropped out of school at sixth grade. Kyler dropped out at 8th grade. And so, you know, we're coming into building a business with no education, no GED, no high school diploma, no college education, about finances, about leadership, how to, you know, influence people, how to sell, how to run a marketing team, how to get this knowledge out to people, how to, you know, hire people.
How to start a podcast.
Yeah, start a podcast. Yeah, by the way, this is my first official podcast.
I'm so glad that you're on here.
Yes.
But there's a lot of, you know, and the crazy part, Dustin, is I was only 19. Kyler was only 21.
I think that's the craziest part of it all.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're two people that had a vision and a dream. And I always say, a dream without a plan is just wishful thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a plan, and you know, I still go back to we had our old plant, and I still go back to the first year, 2 years that we started. And me and Kyler and my dad was out there helping us. He's just an awesome guy. He's shy of a camera, so I'm still trying to get him on this podcast. But he was the one that believed in us. We didn't have to have anyone else believe in us except him.
Yeah.
And you know, we still lived at home, so we'd go home every night, and you know, we'd sit there. We were crying. We're thinking, "Hey, next week we're going to have to shut this down." And then we'd say, "You know, we're just gonna hold out one more week,
one more day."
And you know, we just learned over time of how to have the leaders in companies to where you can grow.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Kyler, every Saturday, we worked 6 days a week. We took Sunday off for rest.
Yeah.
And Saturday nights, we would work till 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night. And none of our employees would clean up after themselves. So we'd have to go back in the production shop. And we'd have to take brooms and forklifts and dumpsters. And we'd have to clean out their bays for Monday morning because we wanted to produce homes and sheds.
Now, if you were a greedy person, would you be doing that?
And
I don't
you know,
think so.
people, you know, I'm 23 at the time, right now, today. And, I'm still out here Saturday at 6 o'clock, and I'm still out seeing how we can be better. How can we Monday morning be more efficient? How can we Monday morning be more affordable?
Yeah, I think we grew up being solutionary, like figuring out a solution. And I was telling, we had a meeting with a trucking company, and I think the biggest what separates us is if we can't find it, we build it.
That's
And
right.
then we find a solution.
With
That's our whole life story is work ethic. Like I couldn't find no one to like deliver our product. So what did I do? I got in the truck and I figured it out. I had no training.
It was
I had no
crazy.
training.
It was crazy. The first week I met you, Dustin, you've been in the modular space for 20 years. And the way that we deliver is like none other.
Yes.
We don't use cranes. We don't have to.
Yeah.
So we build our own ecosystem that no one else does in the modular space. And you're like, how are you delivering these without a crane? I'm
Yeah.
like, well, what do you mean? This is how
It was
I've
a
just
normal life for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were like, no, that's crazy. Like, you can't do that. And I'm like, and I keep sending you pictures, and you're like, stop. Like,
Yeah.
I've done it one way for 20 years, and you're telling
Yeah.
me that you've been doing this for 3 years, and you had no experience in the modular space, but you figured out a way that no one else in the whole world is doing.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you're not compromised by the world. You were so young coming into it. You didn't see walls.
Well,
You didn't see obstacles.
We grew up living on a farm. We grew up with no cell phones. We grew up with no TVs.
Yeah.
Like when I was 13 years old. I went to work
Yeah.
every single day. If I'd get home from school at 3 o'clock, I'd go to work. I'd be on a horse, riding horse. I'd be with my dad.
Yeah.
I'd be working. Like I didn't go home and I didn't watch TV. I didn't play games. I didn't do all those things. I think that work ethic is what taught us, and I think that's what we're missing
Yes.
in today's world is that work ethic, that you've got to work for things, and you're going to be a lot more happier if you work for these things, the work ethic. But we've always just been solutionary, figuring out a way. Like we had no background in leadership. We just had to figure out a way.
Yeah, well, you understand that with that upbringing, on a farm, multiple businesses, plenty of work to do, not all the technologies and everything. You start to enjoy the suffering and the hardness of it. And what I mean by is I'm tired of the greed. It's maybe really not the greed. I'm tired of people that have the ability that don't do it because it's not easy.
And I kind of want to touch on that if I could interrupt for a second. At Saddleback, we're solutionary, right? We don't know how to do something today, but we'll figure it out tomorrow. But I also want to talk about our standards. When we say we set the standard, we really do set standards in our life. You don't get from workers not cleaning after themselves to now workers leaving the factory spotless overnight. But we've developed such a standard that's going to allow us to do 100, 200 homes.
Right.
And it's crazy because now we have to raise our standards even more.
Every day we're
to
raising
build
our
1,000 homes.
Yeah.
And like you said, maybe it's not the greed, but it's people who have the availability to do it but don't do it. I mean, I really believe we're industry impactors, industry disruptors, industry leaders.
Yes, we are.
And if we are industry leaders, when other companies see our standard, when they walk in, when they see our employees, I don't like employees because we're family. When they see the family we've created, when we see how we have each other's backs, how we treat our customer. I mean, you said we have amazing service, amazing meet and greet, but what we're trying to do now is we want to have amazing hospitality.
Yeah.
That's a whole different level.
Yeah.
Like, we want to be Saddlebrook Ritz-Carlton. That's what we want to do. We want to be
That's a good term.
We want to be Four Seasons Saddlebrook. That's my vision for it.
Saddlebrook,
But bringing it to the middle class and lower class, bringing
Exactly,
that
yeah.
luxury to them.
And I think, Dustin, when I hear greed, I hear commissions. When you go to a dealership, it's all about, let's take a car dealership. I want to do a survey. If you hate going to a car dealership, comment something below.
We're going to get 1,000 comments.
I went to a car dealership.
Yeah, I feel like look forward to going to the dealership and looking around, just to look around.
There's a couple good ones.
There's now they've up-leveled their standard, but there's some of the old ones that, when you get to a car dealership and you know they're going to try to sell you something because they got to earn a commission. And like now, I just bought a truck last week. I will not even set foot on the dealership anymore. Why? Because you sit there for 6 hours to get absolutely nothing done. Your credit gets pulled 50,000 times. And you go around and around in a circle. And I'll tell you about one of my
You get stuck in a waiting room by yourself occasionally while they negotiate.
Yes. And here's one experience that I had. And this is why I put integrity on my wall down there as one of my core values. Is 2 years ago, I went and bought a company truck for our warranty department. And before I went, I did my research. I found a great deal. And so I went down there. They said it will take 2 hours max. I sat there for 6 hours on a Friday night. And here's what happened.
Yeah.
So they happened to sell me the wrong truck.
Oh my gosh.
They give me the keys, but they sell me the wrong truck. Okay. I leave. I pay for the truck with a check because they wouldn't take a wire that night or something. So I have to write a check. And so I leave. I bought the truck for set price, signed the contract. I get a call 10 minutes later, and the guy says, "Hey, I'm so sorry, but you have to come back." I'm like, "What for? We're done." All the while, I'm down there for 6 hours. They said, "We sold you the wrong truck on paper."
My Lord.
I said, "Okay," because it was the wrong VIN number.
Yeah.
They just messed up. Yeah, same color, same truck, whatever. And they came back and they're like, "Well, the truck that you just drove off, now you put miles on it, so you can't back out of that deal. But it's $4,000 more." And I'm like, "What do you mean? I've already given you the money. Like, I bought this truck. I've signed the contract. You sold me the wrong VIN number, but now you're saying you're charging me $4,000 more?"
I
And
take
that's
zero
absolutely-
responsibility for anything that I did. That's what they're saying.
Yes. But
And that's what I'm talking about.
But going
That's where you
back to
see
your
the
current thing,
standard.
when you say greed, and I'm not saying all dealerships are like that. They're
Right,
not. They're
right.
still great people in the car
Yes.
industry, in the
Yeah.
dealership industry.
And for the ones that they can upload, everybody can
Yes.
upload.
Everybody can learn from
can
this.
upload their standards.
But that to me is not integrous at all. And that's greed to me. Is they had the word of the owner, of the manager, of the salesman said that's the price you sold that vehicle at that set price, and then they wouldn't go off because they wouldn't have made as much money on that vehicle because they were greedy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
when you walk into a dealership, and Chris, when you said hospitality, when you walk into a dealership, that's what 90% of everyone wants is they're looking at you and going, how much commission?
I'm
can I
looking
make
for the
off
sell. Looking for the
How much
qualify you.
how much can I make off this sale? And so 9 times out of 10, how many salesmen actually want to sell you what they make the most on, not actually what the customer needs?
Yep. And that's the biggest thing I think it's worth mentioning. We don't lower or raise our prices. Our prices are what they are. And that is an awesome concept because we're making a fair amount and you're buying it at a fair amount. We're not going back and forth and trying to make you feel better like dealerships do. And I think that's why people love working with us because we're not trying to sell you our product. We're trying to guide you to the correct option. That's what we're trying to do.
The option that's best for your family, not that's best for Saddlebrook. And I think that's where a lot of the hurt comes from, and the greed comes from people is they try to sell you what they think that you need versus what you actually believe that you need.
I mean, just to touch on that right there, and this goes to anybody listening, this is going to hurt you because you probably never heard it. But if you're working and you're not quite happy where you're at, maybe you're a business owner, and you need more, you want to make more, guess what? You have to help more people. If you want to make double the money, you have to help double the people. Now, what's hurting about that, when I tell you that, is you're already working as hard as you can. You're already maxed out. And when I say that, it hits you so hard because how can I help double the people when I am maxed out? And let me tell you what it is. The key to your success, the key to this company's success The whole key to all of this working so that you can have a new home that you can afford, and we're going to spread this across the country, is personal development. So when you're maxed out and you're thinking to yourself, how can I help more people? I'm already maxed out. That's when you need to self-correct. That's when you need to self-assess. That's what we do here daily. That's the culture that we have created amongst ourselves. We push ourselves. We don't work out so that we can make other people feel bad for not being fit. We work out to raise our standards internally, personally. We self-correct daily. We build mental toughness. We don't drink alcohol, not because we want to be better than other people.
Or not because alcohol is bad.
And not because it's bad. We don't do it because it don't fit in to our mission, our daily mission of creating a nationwide company that helps thousands of families. Do you understand? So when I say if you want to help more people and make more money, it's so available to you all. There's never been an easier time to win. It's self-development. You need to self-assess. Are you drinking beer every night? Are you taking care of your body? Are you watching how much sugar you're taking into your body? Are you loving your body? Are you serving Jesus? Hey, the reason I bring this up, the reason I even say this, I'm not preaching at you, I'm coaching at you. Because we coach each other every day in this company. This is what sets us apart. This is what is allowing us to rapidly have rapid growth.
You haven't been here in what, 3 weeks, 2 weeks?
Oh, maybe, yeah. Maybe about 3 weeks.
And you showed up yesterday around 9 or 10, and you're like, y'all have changed in the last 2 weeks again.
Oh, yeah. Every time I show up, I just show up for 2 or 3 days at a time. Every time I show up, it's a brand new place. And that's
like
what
we
it's all about.
shifted, we shifted again. And we look at everything. We look at efficiency, affordability, where we buy our materials, what we buy, where we buy it, how much we buy it for.
Yeah.
Because if we just buy it from the average place to buy lumber or lumber mill, then we'd have to raise our standards and raise our prices. But we're always trying to find the best prices.
Colton, wouldn't it be easy just to find one dealer for materials and buy their materials and never look at it again?
It would be easy.
Wouldn't it just be easy to do that?
But we're having to ship from Michigan
But
to
we can't do
Alabama,
that.
Georgia,
You can't do that.
Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana.
Yeah.
They come
I'm
from all
pretty
over.
sure if we're gonna find a solution to that as well. We're not even in the material industry, and we might have to tap in.
Windows come from Kentucky.
yeah.
Doors come from Kentucky.
Listen,
The point is when you come into the Saddlebrook ecosystem and you realize that, hey, I can have this house for $142,000 or whatever the number may be, $98,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
It's because of people like Colton
Yes,
that
sir.
is fighting the fight, getting different prices, keeping the cost down the best he can to provide that to you, the buyer.
And it takes work. There's a lot of work Colton does. Nobody sees.
Yeah.
And those are the
you,
differences
guys.
that is going to help reach more people. And Dustin, final question. We got to close this out, man.
Okay.
But I got to ask, Evolution Modular X Saddlebrook, we got to come out with merch. What do you think?
Oh, yeah.
They're like, hey, we want some merch. We want to be part of the movement.
Yeah.
And we want to rep it out. Even though you're not buying a home, they just want to they want to wear our merch.
Yeah.
They want to wear the American flag on, the Saddlebrook Army. This one just says Saddlebrook Life.
Yeah.
Which is building dreams, transforming lives. He's got a Saddlebrook Army.
Yeah.
But
And I think it's time to make America great again.
It really is.
It's a great
Yes.
it's a great country.
Yeah.
We're one of the very few, blessed countries left, and I think we don't, as Americans,
Hey,
we're not thankful enough. We're not grateful enough.
One thing I'd like to say to you all real quick is we live in the land of plenty. We live in the greatest nation on planet Earth. The fact of the matter is we don't have enough housing for our own people is crazy to me.
Yeah.
Okay? So, hey, let's change it. We're on a mission to change it. If you're an investor, if you're a banker, if you're an economic development corporation, any type of person who can make a change, maybe you're just a homeowner, go to your local cities and spread the word. There's options. There's ways to grow. There's ways to take on this together. So obviously, if you're a home buyer, and you're looking for that type of home that we do at saddlebrooklife.com, check us out. But if you're an investor, you want to help your community, you are the answer right now. You the successful people out there that own the land, that have the relationships within your communities, that you're looking to develop, and you're looking to get multiple houses in there to really make change in your workforce, in your communities, in your growth, in your cities, in your families, in your churches, then take the step. Take the risk. It's worth it. Get off the fence. There is no middle ground. If you have the ability, if you have the resources, use them. I promise you, you'll be dead soon. We don't live very long. Make a lasting impact in this world. Have your local community remember your name. Build a community, put your name on it, and you change hundreds of families' lives.
Right in your backyard.
Right in your own hometown. Get off the fence. There is no middle ground. And that's my challenge to all the successful people out in the country who have the ability, who have the resources, who have the land, who have the connections, who want to help people. Help us, help you, help your local people.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you,
Dustin.
Dustin.
Yeah. I mean, we could all agree this was the most heartfelt episode we've had.
It was.
Yeah.
I mean, and what I've gotten out of this episode is let's stop living for profits and let's start living for purpose.
Purpose. Amen.
Purpose over profits. So,
Yeah.
well, Dustin, I appreciate you coming on. Again, Kyler and Colton, thank you so much for coming on as well. Guys, I'm going to close out this episode. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, drop a like, drop a comment. It helps us with the algorithm. And if you have any questions we couldn't answer or concerns, drop it in the comments. We'll answer it in the next episode. And literally, if you have anybody you know that can benefit from this podcast, consider sharing. So guys, again, this was a Tiny Home Podcast, the #1 podcast in the world, powered by Saddlebrook, and we'll see you the next episode.
Let's go.
Let's go.
If you enjoyed this video, drop a like. If you have any questions we didn't answer, drop a comment. And guys, tune into next week's episode where we will continue to educate you about the tiny home industry.